So should you join a real estate team? It's one of the most common debates that I see in this business. I'm going to break that down for you and really look at 5 different areas on if it's a good decision for you or not. And if you stay to the end, I'll give you my one biggest piece of advice when you're considering joining a team or not. And by the way, my name's Chad Leonberg, and I've helped hundreds of agents build a 6-figure real estate business using our Shark Partner program. If you're interested in any of that, hit me up with the contact info below. Okay, so the first category is expenses, and this is one of the biggest misunderstandings. So whether you're looking at starting a team or you're looking at joining one, I think you should fully understand this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to lay out our business model for you here on this video. One of our values here is transparency, so I want that to reflect in these videos. So I'll tell you, our business model, we run a business. The revenue that comes into that business is the GCI, or the gross commission income. That's 100% of the company's revenue, the GCI that we generate from our deals, working with buyers and sellers. So of that money, I have costs of goods sold, and my team is a 50-50 split. Now, you'll see a lot of different splits with teams. You'll see some that are 70-30. Either way, there's everything in between. What they provide, there's no right or wrong way. I'm just giving you the model as ours is. So we have a 50-50 model. So my side, this is my team leader's perspective here, cost of goods sold is 50%. So then we have a budget for 10% marketing, 10% overhead, and 10% staff. That's for our expenses, right? So if you do the math, right, we have 100% revenue, 50% cost of goods sold, 10, 10, and 10, which is 30% in expenses. That leaves me with a 20% profit margin. So that is our business model. That is what we work off of. So I didn't start a team to take 50% from agents. I started a team to take 50%, but using 30% of it for the expenses to make 20%. And last year it was 14, so it's not always good. So I think understanding it from that perspective, it simplifies it down so you understand why you would join a team. So now that you look at that and you understand there are expenses on the team leader's behalf, right? You're getting the tech stack that they're paying for, the proven system that they've used, to close deals or to convert leads, right? You're getting, photography sometimes paid for. This is not all teams. I'm just giving examples, right? You're getting photography paid for. You're getting marketing paid for. You're getting staff paid for if there's an admin or an ISA department or things like that. So there's a lot of expenses the team leader bears. We just had a team member join and we got them their own domain name, and that's $10 a year. I know that's pretty cheap, but there's just a lot of miscellaneous expenses that do add up. So I think when you understand that, maybe you're scared to pay for photos. Maybe you're scared to output money for marketing, for lead generation. Maybe you're scared to buy the nice tech stack. Expenses would be a major reason to join a team if you don't want to bear them. Now, if you understand what it's like to start a business and run a business and you don't mind paying to play, maybe, you should take the solo route and, do it yourself and or build your own team. So expenses, though, would be one thing you really want to consider when joining a team to see which way you fall there. Now, the second factor that you want to consider is coaching. Coaching can be expensive. It can be, obviously there's kind of group coaching and cheaper coaching or $500, but generally anybody worth coaching from is going to be at least $1,000 or really $1,500 minimum or more per month. So cutting out, a $1,500 or $2,000, expense from, a team leader who's proven and been tried and tested, you could kind of just get access to them and their proven system, have one-on-ones, have, that group coaching. Every team environment is going to be different, but you're paying for it in your split, that more, focused one-on-one attention. Or that group coaching, where you can ask the questions you want to ask. Obviously, this can be done from mentors and managers and all that stuff. So if you think you'll get enough from that, from YouTube videos like this, from classes that you can attend and or pay for on the side, then the solo route works fine for you. But if you kind of just want, again, to wrap it up in a bundle and get coaching included in your commission split, then maybe that's a good fit for you to join a team. All of it is subjective. It depends on the person. There's not one size fits all, but the team can be very valuable for somebody who wants to offset coaching. But if you're, willing to kind of find that way yourself or pay up, then run it solo. Now, the third one is collaboration. So this comes in a lot of different ways. This could be from just hearing how somebody else handled an objection, hearing how they articulated their value on a listing appointment. It can come from covering each other's showings. I know on our team, We have a dollar amount in place. It's not enforced. It's just kind of the, expected, but generally everybody has always done $50 per showing. Of course, if there's a bundle of like 4 or 5 in a day, probably get like the discount showings, but it keeps the accountability there. So somebody's not going too far one way or the other in terms of who's covering who for showings. But they have other people to just quickly in the team chat, hey, can you cover this showing for me? And then, we have our CRM connected where they just, share the lead with the other team member and say, hey, this is the person you're showing. Here's, you can see all the past texts and all that good stuff. So that, collaboration as well. So collaboration from a standpoint of seeing what other people are doing and hearing a different way of handling it. You might pick up little nuggets. And those, I've always said, one sentence can make or break a deal. So you might pick up that one sentence, that one nugget, but also the collaboration and handling the current business when you're on vacation, things like that, just having some other people to lean on, an admin staff, stuff like that to cover you. So that's super helpful. But, maybe you have a really good brokerage or you want to build your own team environment and you want to run it, you can get collaboration other ways. You can join mastermind groups. There's a lot of good ways to do this. It's just, again, back to that in-house thing. This is one other factor why you might want to consider joining a team, so it's built in. The fourth category is systems. So maybe you're not a systems person, if, thinking about, task management and organization skills, like what's your email inbox look like? This actually, I have two skill sets. I've always felt that gift of gab, sure, I can talk, I'm on YouTube here doing it, but also systems and processes. Like I have everything systemized in my life. If it's not on my task list, it simply doesn't get done. My wife knows this. So basically, for me, systems, like that's not something I personally needed, because I will build a system out of everything I do. Out of my email, I have a color code, and I star my email certain colors and hot, warm, cold them, whether it's my kids' chores, there's like a process they go through to approve them, and then I pay them, in their little kids' bank account and all that stuff. Like I got everything systemized. So if you're that type of person, you might not need this. But if you're not, and you're totally, unorganized, just a chaos ball rolling forward, it might be nice to join someone who has some laid out systems and processes, some steps that you can follow, some things that can help you, I've always said, like our CRM, for example, you can work 100 leads with the effort to work 10, because we put the systems and processes in place for you to segment your leads and work them in bunches so that you're not a chaos ball rolling forward. So it just depends. So if you're a systems person, the solo route, you can build it on your own. You can rock and roll, but maybe you just want that all laid out for you, especially if it's a proven system that's closed hundreds, or in our case, over 1,000 deals. And the last one is leverage. So leverage comes a lot of ways. Of course, it definitely comes in the tech stack and the systems and processes and automations or anything like that. But it also comes from people, being able to leverage having an admin, being able to leverage having a group of sales agents in the area, right? Each of those has its own form of leverage. For the agents that are selling in the area, you can leverage that in a listing appointment. You can leverage the team's past sales in your listing appointment. When you join them, their production kind of becomes yours because you're adopting the team marketing strategy. So they're getting the same thing as if they would list with another team member. So basically, you're able to use their past accolades and sales for you, and starting out, that could be very helpful and might win you a couple listings. And then as for, the admin staff and the ISA staff and stuff like that, we have, for example, our admin knows how to write an offer. So if you're out showing a house, you can pop in we have a Google form request. You can pop in the details and he'll get it drafted up for you. Obviously, he's not sending them, but at least it's, laid out in front of you and majority of it's filled in so that you can just check it all over, make sure it's good and send it off to your client. That's a lot of leverage, especially when we're out hustling and running around and doing all these things throughout the day, showing houses, listing houses, or just out in the car. If you have somebody back in the office to do these things for you, maybe just, hey, can you reorganize my CRM? These 2 leads need moved over here real quick for me. I'm out right now. That leverage is huge. So make sure that you consider that whenever you're looking at, staying solo or not. Now, if you're willing to build that and get your own leverage, through tech and automations or through people, right? Then, again, team's not for you, but I think that, leverage is definitely a big one when considering joining a team, especially starting out in the business. So joining a team is a big decision. It's not one you should take lightly. So my biggest piece of advice is make sure you align with them. Make sure you vibe with them. Make sure your values are the same, your principles are the same type of person here. I can tell you as a team leader, this is something I didn't even realize. There were team members that I didn't vibe with, or we didn't have the same values and principles or outlook on life, and it just doesn't work well. So I would say, the biggest tip is really, if you are going to join a team, go feel everyone out, feel the culture, make sure it's the right vibe for you, make sure they value the same things, the same principles. And if that's the case, then I think as long as the model and everything makes sense to you, and it checks a lot of the boxes from the factors we just talked about, you should definitely go for it. I think starting out, I think it would have benefited me. I had done a comparison a while back from some team members of mine who have sold more units in their first year, netted more income in their first year. They had a higher average sales price in their first year. So, selling more units, that's more potential referrals because they sold more. It's more credibility. Higher average sales price, right? So that's more credibility as well as potentially better income depending on the team split. And then netting more money. I mean, I've literally had team members who netted more than I did in the first year. Ultimately, they lowered their ego. I did not. I thought I could do everything the right way. And having said that, the systems and processes were definitely a huge part of me being able to rock it solo. But that is not always the best course, and I probably would have done better, if I'm being honest, my first year in the business having joined a team. So either way, I'm not saying it, it worked for me to not join a team, so it doesn't mean it's for you. You could rock solo, you could build your own thing. It's not always as profitable as you think it is to start a team, is one other point I would like to make from this video. But all that said, I think teams are a great space in real estate. There's a really good place for them, for those who should be on one, or those who have the capacity to run one. So I hope this video was helpful to you in your decision. Hope it all works out. Real estate is an amazing vessel. It's totally changed my life. And if I can ever help you out with anything, feel free to check out my info down below, or check out any other videos I post on this channel. Like and subscribe. You know the deal. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you at the top.